Welcome to today's Embodied Radiance Activations. Super excited to share on a new topic and theme. So the Embodied Radiance for the 14 days that I'm doing this is a lead up to the live in-person Feminine Embodied or Feminine Radiance Retreat, which is happening in Calgary, Alberta on the April 28th. And it's going to be an amazing day. It's not just a retreat where you get to unplug, but actually an activation for your life. And regardless of whether you're able to make the retreat, which I hope you can, but if you can't, these 14 days leading up to it are intended for you to have an activation, a gem, a takeaway, a tidbit, an embodiment practice, something for you as a gift from me so that you can feel more alive, vibrant, and radiant from the inside out. Radiance isn't something that you can put on like a mask, or put on like an outfit. It's not something that comes from outside of you. It is completely 100% an inside job. It is the inner glow of who you are when you shed away the layers of who you think that you need to be or should be or have been told that you should be in order to fit in, to get ahead, to feel safe, to be loved, all of that. And you can shine in the pureness of your being. Radiance also doesn't mean that you're happy all the time or that you feel good or you're blissed out all the time. That's just not part of the human reality as I know it. Radiance is really actually when you can tune into every single part of yourself, including all full range of your emotions. And this is the topic that we're going to talk about today. So emotional empowerment. This is one of the key pillars that I teach inside all of my programs, including Untamed, including Radiance, all of it, because to get connected, to be able to feel one's emotions and then to be able to express them has been such a key part of my journey. And I know for many, if you've ever been told or feel that you're too sensitive, or you're too much, or can you just keep that down, or can you relax a little bit? Those are ways to actually keep us from being a really full feeling human being. And quite frankly, at this point in time and in life and on our planet, I feel that we can use more sensitive beings. That the planet really needs more people to stand in our truths and share how things are impacting us. Emotions are a way that we can actually connect with every single human being, because beyond what language you speak or what religion you were raised in, we all share the range of human emotions. And this is how we can connect. However, if you've never been taught, like I wasn't really taught, how do you be with your emotions? You just learn to shut it down. Or during my yogi days, I just tried to meditate it away. Good old spiritual bypassing. I don't know if anybody's ever done that. But actually the way through it, the way to really solve a problem or to move past a difficult challenge or a situation isn't to brush it under the carpet. It's actually to feel it all. And I mean all of it. So radiance, emotional empowerment is being able to give yourself permission to feel everything, your sadness, your rage, your disappointment, as well as your joy, orgasmic bliss, celebration. And for some people, maybe some of you listening to this, you might actually be limiting your capacity not only to feel sadness, but also to feel joy. Do you give yourself permission to really celebrate, to feel super good about yourself? Some of us have also been told, okay, don't be too much. Other people might get jealous, or you'll make people feel uncomfortable, or people will think that you're full of yourself. Well, I say that because we need to celebrate. This is why we're here on this planet. And there are so many things that we should celebrate about ourselves as well, the big and the small wins. So going back to emotional empowerment, let's do a short scan of your body right now. And you can close your eyes if that's possible for you right now. And we're just going to take a few breaths into your body. We did a body awareness practice on day 1 or 2 of this challenge, so you can always go back to that if this is new for you. And I'm going to ask you right now, I'm going to name a few emotions, and I want to see, where do you feel that in your body? Okay, so anger. Just notice where you feel that. Do you feel it in your hands that want to make fists? Do you feel it in your chest and the heart beats faster? Sometimes I feel it right in my solar plexus, like right here, like this kind of feeling of contraction in the gut. So you can notice that. And if you want to share in the comments, where do you feel anger? You can pop it in there. Next feeling, sadness. So when you imagine yourself feeling sad, what do you notice happens in your body? Where do you notice that sensation? So for some people, your shoulders might start to slump in. You might feel like tears want to come from your eyes, or maybe there's kind of a withdrawnness of your heart. It can be anything. There's no right or wrong answer. Again, noticing how the emotion is in your body. Okay, and then you can shake that off for a little bit. Okay, next feeling, final one that we'll do today, we're doing a little quickie, is joy. Where do you notice joy in your body? What does it want to do? Do your arms want to spread out? Do you want to get really big? Does a huge smile come up on your face? Do you feel like you want to sit up a little taller? Yeah? So emotions live in the tissues of your body. And what is an emotion? It is energy in motion, emotion. So when we don't allow the energy to move through the body in terms of opening up our chest or letting the tears come or feeling like this heart palpitation of anger and like letting it move through the body in a healthy, non-destructive way, when we don't give it the space to move, what happens is that there is no motion, and then you get stagnation. And stagnation, like a stagnant pond, like a stagnant body, when I talked about detoxing the other day, right? Stagnation creates disease. Disease, dis-ease, a lack of ease in the body. And a stagnant pond, as we know, when water doesn't move anywhere, festers. And things start to brew, and it gets really murky and yucky and disgusting. You don't even want to touch it. And this is what happens in your emotional body if you don't give your emotions a way to move through your body. And this is why it's so important. So talking about radiance, you know, when we are feeling radiant inside, again, it doesn't mean that we never feel sadness or rage or anger. In fact, I feel those things all the time, right? It's that we want to be able to move that energy so that it doesn't get stuck inside ourselves. Tomorrow, I'm going to teach you more about boundaries, because when we're not honoring our emotions and we're overriding our boundaries, that actually leads to resentment and more difficult emotions to be with. So I'm going to talk more about boundaries tomorrow. But today, I'm going to give you one really, really good practice that I love to do for the emotional body. And then if you want more practices to do with the emotional body and self-care in general to keep yourself feeling really good in your body, different ways that you can move some of your emotions, I've recorded 5 videos of self-care, which is excellent. It's got some of my 5 best embodiment practices. So just put into the chat self-care, and somebody from my team will send you the link to make sure that you get these free videos. They're really good. All right, so for now, today, we're gonna do a little bit of shaking. Wherever you are, you can be seated, you can be standing. I'm just gonna set up my tripod so that you can see me well. You can do it from anywhere. Even if you're at work, you can take a moment to do this. So no excuse to drop off right now, stay. So what you wanna do is start to shake your body, yeah? Shake your hands, your fingers, your elbows, your shoulders. Let your chest soften. Relax your belly. Bounce your knees. Shake your feet. Shake, shake, shake. We're gonna do this just for 1 minute right now. And don't hold back, like really, really, really give it a good shake, yeah? So animals, when they are in nature, if they've gone through a trauma, yeah, or a chase, they just got, this little squirrel got chased by, I don't know what eats squirrels, but got chased by something in the forest, and it's got tension or stress in the body. What it does after the fight response or the flee response is it shakes in the body. Yeah, shaking is so good. It gives more it gives more motion to your emotions. So go ahead, shake, shake, shake. You got 10 more seconds, and shake everything. Like relax your neck, relax your facial muscles, your cheeks, everything. Go. Yeah, and then bring your breath into it. 3 big breaths. Inhaling through your nose. Good. Now exhaling, making out a sound. Good. Do that once or twice more. Okay, good. And then come into stillness. Pause for a moment. You can close your eyes if you can right now. Just feel your body. Notice any sensations that are here for you in this moment. And perhaps even just noticing what has shifted for you in this 1 minute that we brought more motion to your body. Most people say tingling. Yeah, feeling aliveness, lighter. What do you feel? Feel free to pop them into the comments if you wish as well. So this shaking practice is so good, and I do it all the time, like several times a day. You can do it in the bathroom stall if you're at work. And if you have an emotion that you're working with, let's say you're feeling frustrated, yeah, this is something that you can do. So let yourself be frustrated. That's okay. It's real. You feel it. You're allowed to have it. But then when you want to move it, not to get rid of it, not to say that it's bad or not allowed, but you want to move it so that you can have more space, more freedom, more life force, that your emotion doesn't have a hold over you, but that you can actually work with the energy of the emotion, then do this shaking. Remember the words that I just shared with you, energy, emotion. Energy has no good or bad or right or wrong. It just is. And energy, when wielded, when alchemized in the right way, can actually serve as life force, as inspiration, as, energy to get stuff done in your life, like energy to finally speak your truth and say that thing that's been nagging into your heart for so long. Like the power of energy behind the emotions, when we free it up from the story that it's hooked onto, can actually be really, really life enhancing. So there you go. One last piece that I'm going to give you today, and just as a little heads up, if you're joining the lives, remember, if you comment with your greatest takeaway every day for the 14 days, you will be entered into a draw to win a free ticket to the Radiance retreat on April 28th in Calgary, Alberta. You can also fly in there, Great International Airport, super easy, or you can get a choice of a one-on-one coaching session with me. So make sure that you do that as well. If you do want my 5 videos of self-care, which has shaking, but it has other tools in it as well, it's completely 100% free. Just comment self-care in the comments and my team will get back to you and send you the link for that. Okay, one last juicy tidbit for today. Behind every emotion is wisdom. This is what my dear friend and mentor, Joni Taverner, taught me years and years ago. Behind every emotion is wisdom. There is something behind it that it is wanting to reveal. And when you're feeling something that often has an intensity to it, like anger, for example, usually there's actually something underneath that even more. Behind anger is often that you feel sad or that you feel scared. Behind resentment is often a disappointment in yourself that you didn't set your boundaries. Behind every emotion is wisdom, a gift that wants to be seen and revealed. So when we can bring enough motion or energy moving that intensity of the hook of what that emotion is making it to mean about you or somebody else in your life, which creates more judgment, separation, disconnection, and then we can actually move it in a powerful way and see, okay, what is it actually really trying to say right now? There is the gold. Because when you can touch that part, you are no longer consumed by your emotions, but then you can reveal the often precious part that wants to be shared underneath it. I have to just share that, working with the emotional body is such a huge practice, and it has been for me a lot. Growing up, I was always told that I was too sensitive, so a lot of the times I just pushed my emotions away, or I didn't want to share them, or I would just go up to my room as a little girl and not talk about things. And then once I started to actually move with my emotions and realize, hey, I'm actually allowed to be angry, I'm allowed to feel disappointed, I'm allowed to feel all those things, then I felt them so intensely. And I've sat in women's circles with women before who are like, I can't let these tears out, because if I start, I'm afraid that I'll never stop. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but it's just like oceans of tears are behind this, and I just don't even want to unlock that door. I've worked with my anger a lot. She's been really up. My Kali, my Kali goddess has been really up with anger in the first few months of the year, working through a personal situation where it was like I really had to remember these practices, and I didn't always do it well, I'll be honest. But always doing my best to see okay, how can I not be consumed by the anger, but and then almost start to wield it against someone else. I feel stabbed, so now I'm going to stab you in the heart, but actually learn that actually behind the feeling, instead of being enraged or after the rage, tuning into the wisdom behind it. And it's often my little girl, who just wants to be seen and held and loved and feel safe and welcome, and that she's okay. And when we can tune into this part of that precious need behind the emotion that's wanting to be expressed, that again is the gold. That's where we can give ourselves deep love. That's where we can be there for our loved ones. And that's where emotional mastery really comes in. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, please feel free to comment with your takeaways. If you have any questions, I'll stay on for an extra few moments. I'm happy to respond to them. If you haven't grabbed your ticket for Radiance, make sure that you get that sooner than later. We are talking with the chefs. We've got an incredible lunch plan and a gorgeous day where you're just going to feel so much more alive. It's an activation for your life, not just a day to retreat, but an activation for your life. So please come if you can. And again, comment self-care if you want those 5 videos. All right. So great. Behind every emotion is wisdom. My main takeaway for today. Yeah, great. Thank you. That's such a good one. I actually made little cards for everyone at the last Wild Woman Gathering that says this. So if you really like that, write it on your mirror, put it up so that you can see it all the time. Continued success. Yeah, it's like all of us, I'm a art piece in process. So doing my best. Okay, nice takeaway that not getting rid of the emotion, just moving it. Yeah, it's really not about getting rid of it. There's nothing to get rid of, because then we make something bad or wrong. But it's actually it's to be felt. And maybe I'll just leave you with, one more little gem today, which is that after my grandmother died 4 years ago, this was the deepest grief I've ever experienced in my life. And she was my person, and when she passed, I really experienced this period of about 11 months where I really didn't want to be alive anymore, to be honest. I was like, life take me. This is so painful to live without my grandma on this planet. I don't even want to be here. It was so intense. And I knew, and I'm glad that I knew enough about emotions, that if I was just going to push that away or try and get on with life, or, just look at all the things that I'm grateful every day, forget it. I just wasn't even there. I could see beautiful things and know that my life was wonderful, but I couldn't really feel it because I was in such deep grief. And if I had tried to move through that period of grieving quicker than my body could metabolize, that's called overriding. And that's just going to push your feelings deeper and deeper into your body, only for it to probably come out in a more ferocious or intense way later. So that's why sometimes when we have this feeling I'm just going to lose it, it's often not because of one moment. It's because of many micro moments that have built up to that one where all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this feels so intense. But it's like an accumulation more often than not. So I really learned during that grieving process as well to not, it's really not about not feeling your emotions. It really isn't. It's not about trying to be, more enlightened or spiritual or evolved or whatever, to say like, oh, it's just life. Or if you're disappointed because you didn't get a job, to say like, oh, something better will come. Like, yes, that. And it's also okay to feel disappointed, to feel that. Give yourself that. And this is all a part of the Radiance activations in your life, to really feel it all. This is what makes you a human being. And this is what ultimately makes you glow from the inside, is when you're not accumulating anything that creates stagnancy in your body, including your emotions. All right, so that was a big extra little bit. I could talk for ages about this, but I'll stop here. Tomorrow, I'm going to come back on. We're going to expand on this topic of emotions, and we're going to talk about boundaries. And how when we don't set clear boundaries, when we are people pleasing, or when we're afraid to ask for what we want, or say no when something doesn't feel good, that ultimately that creates more resentment. And resentment is an emotion that is really difficult to deal with when we get to that point. But there are ways to make sure that we don't get there. And if you are there, ways to unpack that. So boundary setting, please come tomorrow. It's such an important conversation. And thanks again for being here. I look forward to doing this again. All right, much love.